allow themselves for likes. A lot of people go pit up will go do something degrading, a humiliation ritual just for likes. Like, okay, you're a guy, you're a straight cis male, and you're wearing a dress, you're putting makeup on, or you're doing something out of the usual that you wouldn't do just for a like, just for money. Just like it can go for women too. A lot of women, they'll go do something that's morally not right to them just for validation, just for attention. I've seen it happen so many times where they'll post a picture where they're half naked or they're naked just to feel seen, just to feel loved, just to get the like. Because, like I said, it's that dopamine rush. It's the childhood trauma. It's not having a father in their lives. Like when a woman doesn't have a father in her life to like I'm not gonna lie to you, like a lot of women, their first love is their dad. That's the first example of a role model, first example of how a man should treat you. And for a guy, the first example of love is from their mother. You hear all the time, mothers always spoiling their sons. But at the same time, it's just like that for their with women with their dad. Their dad's supposed to be the protector. You always see their dad kind of being more protective of their daughter compared to their sons. So, and this shouldn't be like that. Both parents should nurture and love their child equally, no matter the gender, no matter the age, and still treat all the kids fairly. No matter what can they do for you, what can't they do, so still love your kids just the same way. Shouldn't be a competition of what they can do, what they can't do, and whatnot. Should love your child no matter what. No matter if your child has a disability, no matter if your child is not performing how you want them to perform, no matter their gender of your child, you should love your child equally amongst all your kids just the same way. Nothing less, nothing more. Just you should love your child for who they are. And a lot of people don't. That's why we're suffering from all these issues right now currently. We have a lot of adults that are kids still. We got a lot of adults that are at the age that they felt a traumatic experience. A lot of adults are still stuck on that wavelength, on that mindset of when they was hurt, whether it's by their peers, by their family, by their friends, by their environment. And we need to stand up and we need to get healing. The hood needs to heal. Our environment needs to heal. America profits from this. America profits from ignorance all the time. It profits from us destroying each other, us killing each other, us swearing at each other. It profits from us arguing on social media. It profits. I can tell you how it all profits. When we don't know how to basically have emotional regulation, anything becomes easier to do, whether it's good or bad. So if you don't have emotional regulation, you're most likely to crash out. What does crashing out mean? Doing something you're gonna regret in the long term. Doing something for a momentarily emotion that's gonna last a lifetime. So whether it's you either hit somebody, you steal something from somebody, you kill somebody, that moment you felt that emotion, and if you just took a deep breath, if you just took the time to walk away, you'll be sparing your life and somebody else's life. But let's say you take the time to do something, a heinous act, and you unalive somebody. Now, you got to deal with the fact that you just did that. And some people care, some people don't. But eventually, it pops in your head. It affects the people you're around. You lose time. You lose sanity. You lose sleep. People can say, oh, I do this and I don't care. Like, they do care. When you're sitting inside of the box, you're sitting in prison and you're seeing your years go by, you're seeing your family cry for you. Let's say you have a daughter or a son. They're missing their father. They're missing their mother off of a temporary emotion that you had. If you learn emotional self-regulation, if you learn to be patient, if you learn to walk away, to breathe, you wouldn't be in that state. And look at how many community members are not here no more, whether because they're not alive, whether they're in prison for life, whether like they're in a mental hospital, just off of trauma, just off of what happened as a kid. We gotta do better, and it stands up. The changes happen when you stand up. Like I'm always gonna give examples of myself because I'll be the first person to stand up. I'll be vulnerable. I'll take the first leap. Like, it's not easy to go through these things. Like, I grew up, like I said, my parents neglected me, literally neglected me as a kid. Like, my mom wouldn't be in the house. She was always in and out the house every single time, even if it's valid or not. She was just never there. And all my siblings can attest for this. She still does this. You know what I mean? And I learned to forgive my mom. The first step is forgiveness. If we can't forgive nobody, no one can change. And to move forward in life, sometimes you gotta forgive yourself and forgive others, or you'll still be stuck at that point where you was hurt. I learned to forgive my mom because my mom does the things she does because my mom has an addiction. My mom has an addiction. She doesn't have a drug addiction. She has a gambling addiction, and that's just her life. That's what she grew up on. For whatever reason, for whatever the outcome was, that's what she's hooked on. And sometimes I wish she was hooked on drugs or whatever. And I know that sounds crazy, but I feel like a lot of people can get off of drugs, but gambling is something that's very hard because a lot of people don't think they have a problem because they're not on drugs, they're not on alcohol, so they think whatever they're doing is justifiable. Just like when someone takes drugs, okay, if I'm not making you take drugs, doesn't mean what I'm doing is bad because, oh, I'm doing it to myself. But people don't realize the effect it has on others in their environment, in their community. Just like my mom doesn't realize the effect that she has on me, herself, and her family. So all these things affected me when I was younger. Like, my mom wouldn't be home because of that. My mom wouldn't be the parent she needed to be because of that. She wasn't giving me the nurturing love that I deserved as a kid. And because of that, it made me seek validation from people. It made my self-esteem low because, like I said, like, both of my parents really weren't in my life, to be real, to be frank. So when I got older, I was seeking validation from friends, from peers, from coworkers. I was seeking validation through social media. I needed to get these likes to feel good about myself. And after a certain point, I had the realization that all this was going on. Like, why am I doing this? And the best thing you can ask yourself is why. When you don't understand something, ask why. Take the time to breathe. Take the time to analyze things, whether it's what's going on in your life, your community, or how you feel. Just ask yourself why. The asking yourself why, you're kind of beating the problem 50% already because you actually taking the time to understand what's going on. And when you understand what's going on, the other 50% is just doing the work to change. Literally, the 50% starts off asking yourself why, knowing that you have a problem, and the other 50% is just wondering how to solve it and solving it. That's it. So after I realized I was seeking validation from people, from things, I had to ask myself why. And it was because I wasn't getting it from my parents. Even when I would achieve good things in life, when I was winning awards for debate, or whenever I had good grades, my parents never applauded me. My parents never were happy for me because they was never there to be seen. So it was just like, damn, that shit didn't even matter to get good grades no more. That shit didn't matter to get these trophies or to do good because even when I was doing good, they didn't care. But the moment I did something bad, man, I don't want to talk about that. Like, they're yelling and getting my ass beat. Like, I'm going through it. So the only time they're there is to punish me. But the times I did good in my life, they weren't awarding me. I wasn't going out to eat. I wasn't getting no applause. They wasn't saying they're proud of me. They wasn't showing me no love. And that's because they're going through trauma from whatever childhood trauma they're going through. So that's what happens when you forgive. You start to understand. You start to take away the stress, the feeling, the hardship of what you've gone through as a kid. Because you understand they went through some trauma. Doesn't mean that they should have treated you like that. But if someone doesn't know better, they're not going to do no better either. So that's why I learned to forgive them. I learned to forgive my mom, my dad, and I learned to forgive myself for how I treated myself, or maybe other people, or whatever situation I was going through in my life. And if I didn't, I'll still be stuck in that pattern, in that loop. And a lot of people are still stuck in the loop. So it becomes a cycle, it becomes a generational trauma that, okay, now because my parents didn't have time for me, I'm not gonna have time for my kids. And it can't be like that. It can't be. We got to change. If you want the next generation to do better, it starts with what we do right now. I'm planting the seed right now for myself, for my kids, for my community, and for society. So if I got to make these videos and talk about the vulnerable moments in my life, I'll do that every single time, because I want the next generation to be better. I want the previous generation to heal, to improve. I want my generation to change and to improve and to heal as well. And I want the next to be better than all the other generations that came before. And it takes sacrifice. This is a literal sacrifice, what I'm doing right now. I'm sacrificing my pride, my ego, to talk about my stories, to talk about what other people are going through that they may not even know, or they're too scared to talk about. So these are why I make these videos. And going back to the point, like, social media made all these feelings and traumas even intensify, because like I said, it started off as childhood trauma. Then when you're not getting these lights, you're not feeling validated, it's basically like an equation. Whatever negativity you experience when you was younger is basically a math equation. A negative plus a negative equals a negative. But if you can do a negative plus a positive, if the positive outweighs the negative, the answer will be a positive outcome, a positive sum. So that's how the equation of life has to be. So you can use social media in a positive way by not seeking validation from likes, from comments, and from things like that. And if you can use it as a tool to better yourself, you better your environment, then you'll be good. You know why you'll be good? Because you're not letting that negativity as a kid affect you in your adulthood. You're not letting social media dictate who you are, how it defines you, or the validation you feel, or your emotional state, or your mental state. So you're using it as a positive. And like I said, if the positive outweighs the negative, and you were using an equation, literal math right now, a negative, which was your childhood trauma, plus a positive, what you're doing right now in your adulthood, how you're using social media, if the positive sum of the number you're adding is higher and greater than that negative sum, then the equation and the sum of the answer will be a positive number, and a positive number is a positive outcome. And this is how we can use social media to speak our authentic truth, to heal and to better ourselves, basically. And that's what I'm doing right now. And it's hard because, like I said, these people, these engineers, these engagement engineers are paid millions of dollars to keep you on this app. They pay people for UI designs, like how the display looks on apps or websites, to look appealing, to look symmetrical. They know what colors gravitate towards our eyes or our minds. It's like they hire people for this, and the paid professionals know what I'm talking about. The people that do research know what I'm talking about. And it sounds like I'm saying a bunch of nonsense, but it's not. Like, people are really paid to, like, design an app in a way that your brain is attracted to it. There's certain colors that people resonate with. When people see green, they think of money, they think of peace. When people see yellow, they think of happiness. When people see red, they usually think of anger or attractiveness. That's why there was a study, like, when, for example, when people wear red, more people are attracted to the color red because it's appealing to your eyes. So all these things play an effect. When you think of red, you think about hearts, you think about Valentine's Day, because those are the colors you see. So everything has a way to psychologically make you think in a narrative. So just like how social media is, there's a bunch of propaganda on social media to make you feel, think, and act a certain way. That's why there's a lot of AI being used now. That's why there's a lot of propaganda, and they started young. They started when you're a kid to have this profile of how you think, how you act, and how they can manipulate you. And it's been working because that's how the thing works. There's an algorithm. Like I said, the algorithm can either make you feel happy, sad, and if you think about it, this algorithm is not always how we think it is. You can see someone's algorithm and you can see someone else's algorithm, and it's totally two complete different things. Whether it's because of your ethnicity, whether it's because of your gender, but it can be two completely different lives. And I seen it. A lot of people that are different ethnicities, they won't see the same thing on their algorithm because it's tailored for a certain group of people to not feel good about themselves, to not be happy. And we all know who that group is for the most part, is the people that are the minority, people that are poor, people that either come from the struggle, from, from the dirt, from the projects, from the hood, people that are middle class, lower class. And that's how it's made, because when you're at that state of, damn, I don't got shit for myself, or I don't feel good about myself because of the clothes I wear, or who I am, or whatever the case may be, you're going to want to listen to the person that got the money. You want to listen to the person that made it out the hood. You want to listen to the person that has wealth, because you equate that to living the life. You equate that to not struggling. Everybody struggle. No matter if you rich, poor, black, white, you struggle. No matter what, anyone can suffer from mental health. Some people do got it better than others, though. Don't get me wrong. We all know this. But that's why social media has a grip on our reality, because all these influencers that got money now, because they're influencers, they sign deals. That's why they say money is the root of all evil, because the deals that they're signing is to go against the people that look just like them, that came from the same situation. So you're seeking validation from somebody that looks like you, that has wealth, whether it's these streamers, podcasters, rappers, actors, professional players like basketball, whatever. And these people are signing deals to harm their community in some type of shape or form, because these contracts are not what you think they are. And if they don't go by their contract gets killed. It gets voided. They lose the money. They have a lot of smear campaigns. They go through it in some type of shape or form. They either get sued, either someone comes up and be like, hey, from the woodworks, that used to be like that, you did this, or whatever the case may be. It's a humiliation ritual. That's why you see a lot of celebrities, they're not going crazy, but they're suffering mentally. Another tactic they use as well is, since they know what you like and what you don't like, they have ways to make you feel like you're going crazy. They'll put things in your algorithm that only you would know that you're thinking about, or what you've seen, to kind of agitate you. And when you feel agitated, no one likes to feel agitated. It's like you're getting poked. Someone's poking you like this. At some point, you want to scream, you want to yell, you want to do something. So sometimes they'll do things like that to make you wild out, either to yourself, to the people around you, your community, and all that. And it's easy because they already know what you like and what you don't like. So that's how they have a grip on us, how they control us. These celebrities, influencers, you want to be like them because they came from the same place. They got money. You know how they can do this? Because they're making your morals get lowered down. They're making you feel like whatever they're doing is more valid than what you're doing. So a lot of people will want to be like these people because they either can relate to them in some type of shape or form in one way or another, or want to have what they have, the jealousy and envy, whether it's a good or positive thing. Or I'll kill to have what he got. Or damn, I aspire to what he got because he comes from the same place as me. So it's either you hate them to a point where you don't want to see them prosper or do good, or you love them to a point where you're worshiping them. And like I said, you can't worship these people. You can't worship